All right, updates. So we're in a shambles here because we have to take this whole area kind of right here because we already have a hole in the wall. I need to put a utility sink in here with the ability to have water and drain. And then we have a nice machine that's coming here, and I'm going to explain that to you guys because it's pretty cool. We'll head around this way because there's just so much. So the polishing process here, we have these turned off just for the sake of the videos, but I don't know if we've ever had people back here. Maybe. But as you can see, I have like dates on here, 7-1, 7-1, 7-4. These parts literally have to be, this is a Gen 5 bar, they literally have to be polished. We do 20 hours a day for 10 to 14 days to get them where we want them. And it's in a Cobb solution. And as you can see, when I turn this on, it just keeps rotating them around. You can see them, you can see the process right there. They're just getting pulled down in. And so the media is very light. It's Cobb. If you guys that reload, you understand how that stuff, there's a little bit of accelerator in here. And you know, you can see these look pretty good. But here's what you have to understand. Here's what you have to understand. Polishing. A lot of people get messed up with this, and that's how they mess up their parts. It's not how it looks. It's really how it feels. That's going to be your main thing. So you can close your eyes and go like this. It doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't mean if like we got like a rouge luster on there. It's not aesthetic. So if you're so if you're polishing a gem or precious metal and all that stuff, yeah, there's aesthetic to it. You want it to look a certain way. But sometimes these bars can turn out a little bit cloudy. But the point is, it's the feel. So that's really what you're going after with this. So with this media and with how we decided to do it, we found this to be the best without abrasing them and cutting through, but it just takes time. It's a lot of time. And then, you know, we'll touch them up with hand polishing and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a 2-week process, which is, you know, it's not labor intensive, but it's time intensive. So I always wanted a way around that because we started out with Jake polishing every one of the bars. I mean, that boy was like locked to the polishing wheel. He just never moved, you know what I mean? Like he would be there 8 hours a day. And so once we moved to these, he was like, oh, thank God. But now I'm like, I don't want to have to do that every time. But I still wanted the quality. So what we found was, we found a company, they're called Mass Finishing Incorporated. And we're getting one of these. This is why I'm clearing the space. It is a centrifuge barrel finisher. And so what this thing does, it does what you can see. There's these little compartments in there, and they spin around high speed with certain type of media. And the company has the media as well. And so what you do is you send them your parts, and as you can see, I'll show you this because it's a pretty cool process. Let me move this out of the way. You know, you have to send them to the lab, and they'll start knocking your stuff out. And of course, these are like, those are overdone, okay? You can see those. You know, those are absolutely trashed because they went through the nickel. But then they sent me a couple other samples. And these right here, these are different medias. And this is different media and time. And when I feel these, the polishes look a little bit better on this, but like I said, it's feel. So as I'm feeling what I'm trying to feel, and it's funny, my fingers are messed up too, so sometimes I'll go like this across, you know, I'll put it on another body part so I can feel how smooth it is because my fingers are, you know, I own a farm. They're just literally, you can't even get I'm like Kaiser Soze. You can't take fingerprints of me. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I'm really trying to see what the feel of it, you know, that's a very sensitive part of your body. So if that feel comes out, I'm like 100, let's do this, let's do it. So 20 hours at 10 to 14 days. has been reduced to 10 minutes. This is 10 minutes in that machine, and I can do 100 bars at a time. And so anyone that's been in the shop, if they actually come, they'll see it's like, it's endless. It's an endless supply of, you know, we have the bars come in and we pop the shoes off. Like this is the last thing of shoes that came off the bars we popped. I mean, it's crazy. I'll show you another cachet over here. So these are the final OEM shoes that we sell. This is another. It's endless. It really is. It's like we go through so many bars here, and the way customs is now, and the way, you know, there's always this lead time that you're dealing with, and so sometimes we really get caught on our heels because of the nature of, you know, of getting these parts in. And I haven't been able to, you know, I got a lot of ideas, but we just haven't been able to level up because there's always that supply and demand thing. And this is going to do something that I really didn't think was going to be possible. You know, my end thing is always, like I said, to bring the best product I can to my customers. And, you know, normally when you start to cut time or you cut something out, your product suffers. But with this, there is absolutely no suffering whatsoever. You know what I mean? That's the coolest thing about it. And so, what is that noise?
I don't know, but it sounds like a trombone.
Okay, anyway. They must be moving a weight machine in there. Anyway, we got a weight room that's right there. So that's cool. So we'll put the website so you guys can see it, but it's Mass Finishing Incorporated. I think they're out of Minnesota, looks like, yeah. But I'm really pleased. And, you know, there's a little bit of lead time to make the machines. They make them right there, a lot of the components. So customer service has been great. It's just been, so far, it's been a wonderful experience. So hopefully I can keep giving you guys updates on that, because a couple weeks we'll have it here. But I'm kind of like to get ahead of the curve, you know, to get this area ready. Yeah, so that's one of the major things I wanted to let all you guys know about. I think it's pretty cool. You know, and like I said, another point, like I said, because it's an update, but like the educational piece here is, like I said, it's not how it looks. You know, it really is how it feels. And if you stick to that, no matter how it looks, you're always going to be okay. That's where people get into trouble. They try to make it look shinier, and then they start burning through that, and then they run into problems. So that is the video for today. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't, you know, if you like the content, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification button so you get alerted. We will have to get the analytic of how many people actually subscribe to this channel as opposed to who watches it, because we're like over 5 million views, but I think we have, you know, 60-some thousand subs. So subscribe, help us out, man, and then share this stuff. So you can also check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and I think that's all the social media we have right now. But remember, guys, trigger control is control.